Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Growth Lounge.
Hello.
Today I want to talk about spiritual messages, like thoughts that randomly come to your head because our thoughts are not our own. Being like seeing angel numbers, finding feathers, finding coins on the ground, animals visiting you, landing on you. Last night I had sleep paralysis, and that was not fun. Sleep paralysis is never fun. The dream that came with it was crazy. The dream that I told you.
Yep.
So I fell asleep after him naturally, and I was falling asleep, and I knew I was getting into sleep paralysis, and like it was kind of like a horror movie where somebody's head like spins around and like changes all different ways, like super fast and blurry, and like all different, like making different like faces. And I looked down and he had a Toronto Maple Leafs fuzzy blanket. Like, don't know where that ties in anything. And I kind of looked over at the door and I seen this black, like, so like on cloaks, how like when somebody like turns and you see like the tail, like the sharp tail end of the corner of the cloak, that's what I seen. And then once I woke up, I was like, nope. And then I got out of bed and I got a incense cone and I brought that into the room and I burnt that for protection and from the sleep paralysis. Then I was getting comfy again and I got this message stating that I need to, like, that the sleep paralysis was and getting up to burn the incense was my message to start my spiritual practices again. Because I haven't really been doing anything, like I haven't been meditating, I haven't been like practicing tarot, I haven't been doing my Reiki, I haven't like nothing. So that was like, okay, you need to get into your shit again. And then we're sitting here out at the lake fishing, and this little baby dragonfly comes and lands on my leg, and it was sitting there for a couple minutes. I held it for a couple minutes or a couple seconds and flew away, came back, and I was just sitting here and he was chilling on my leg for a good 10 minutes. And then his son, I pointed a big one out because mine was a little tiny baby one. His son, I pointed out to Nolan that there is a big dragonfly on a piece of grass over by his fishing pole, and he went and picked it up and carried it over and sat down beside me and put it on his leg and I sat there for a few minutes. So messages, like spiritual messages, to me, I tie dragonflies into my uncle who passed away years ago. So I think that was him visiting me. So different animals with different people, like my grandparents who are passed away, they have, like, I resonate with them with, is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, kind of like you tie them into, or I know which word you're thinking about, but I can't.
I tie blue jays in with them. Eagles is also with one of my uncles. My other uncle is a scent, an old man scent. I can't describe it. My aunt, she's hazelnut and vanilla. So like when I say scents, it's like something like a smell that you haven't smelt in years since that person was alive, and they've always burnt that like candle, or like it's like a smell that brings you right back to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And like seeing numbers all the time, like if you're thinking about something and then you start seeing, like if you're thinking about doing something and you're unsure of it, and then you see all these angel numbers like 111, 222, 333, etc., that's your confirmation that you need to do that thing.
Yep, most definitely. The universe, or whatever you want to call it, universe, God, talks to us in all kinds of different ways, and basically like getting messages like spirit numbers, or synchronicities. Those are all ways that you're getting messages, or something's trying to contact you. Mine are just come to me in my thoughts, in my head. I'll have a thought, and I know I've come to learn that when a thought pops into my head like that randomly, that's something something talking to me.
Another thing is, if you're like going out somewhere and you're hitting all the red lights, that's a sign that you just need to slow down a little bit and, focus on the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
Because kind of like if you're in a hurry and then you hit all these red lights and you get frustrated, well, that's just a sign that you need to just kind of like chill out a little bit and, relax. You'll get there when you're meant to get there,
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
I think it's so fascinating. Like, so many people in the world don't realize that, this type of thing, like these types of things are there. Like they're so just wrapped up in, whatever else that they're wrapped up in. And like sometimes like when you get random chills, that's like somebody visiting you, or you feel like somebody's touched your arm and there's nobody there. I've had that before. Like I was sitting in the garage and it felt like somebody kind of like pushed on the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was there. I was the only one there. Just got this little push. I don't know what it was, but I mean, if you're unsure of something, like you can look it up, or you can just like sit in silence, and whatever thought kind of pops into your head is what that message is meant to be.
I had my first experience with that when I basically got my calling on what it was I was supposed to do. I had kind of been given the direction a little bit and been kind of wrestling with it in my head on what to do, but then it just came to me like full on, like hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was out riding my bike one day, and it was basically like this thought that popped into my head, but it was like a thought that I had, but a thought that was placed there also at the same time, and it was basically saying you need to coach people. You need to become a coach. And I remember I like stopped my bike, and there was like literally like a conversation that ensued in my head. It was the conversation in my head was it was like, well, how am I supposed to do that? I remember it was the thing like, with like money, something about money. I have to quit my job, or having the money to do that. And the voice was like, you have to get rid of your apartment and put your stuff up. And I was like, well, but I like my stuff. Like, this is literally the thought that I had in my head. It was like, well, but I like my stuff. I like having my apartment. I like having my space and everything in my apartment. And it was literally like the thought was like, yes, that's your ego. You have to get rid of that too. It was like literally those thoughts that were coming into my head. And those aren't just thoughts that like I had. Those are thoughts that are put there. basically like God speaking to you, telling you like, this is your path, this is what you're supposed to do. And I think a lot of times people have these instincts, have these thoughts, and have these things that come into their head that they don't understand. It's like, it's literally like the universe or God or whatever speaking to you, giving you your path and purpose. And mine was like, it's over the, over time, it's been kind of like laid out more and more and more. And it was kind of like finally laid out to me like in full detail when we were at the Limitless thing. And I
Yeah.
spoke about that before, and it was like, when that we had a couple incidences come up where I wanted to give people money, and the amount of money I wanted to give them wasn't available to me. And it was basically like, God was like, basically like, okay, well, this is your purpose, so why do you not have that money? Are you not able to do that? This is what you're supposed to do. And so I knew then I was able to piece it together with everything that was given to me. And it's like my full purpose was like kind of revealed. And it was like, God saying that, your purpose is to use coaching and help people out with coaching, but that's like a means to an end, which the end is like, you have to bless all these people. You have to like just you have to make money and then take that money and give it to other people who should have it. So that's like my purpose. And that's how the universe spoke to me. And I knew when it first happened, that day I was riding my bike and I got that message, because I called Bonnie and I told her, and I said, this is what I have to do. And I knew it. I knew exactly what I had to do. And then I went to work. I think it was like later that day. Yeah, it was later that day. And I don't normally like look at my dump slip tickets and everything, because I had to fill out like dump slip tickets with mileage and it's a bunch of numbers. And there was 29s. There was like 7 different 29s on there. The number 29 showed up like 7 different times in my mileage, like in the day and the time, like on the dump ticket. I mean, like the number 29 was there repeatedly. And when you look up as far as numerology goes, the number 29 is like a very distinct number for you are on the path that you're meant to be on. And that happened that day that I said, this is what I'm supposed to do. And once again, that's using numbers, that's using the messages, that's using everything that the universe has, and reading the messages that's given to me.
If you can't give when you are in hard times, you're not going to give when you are in good times.
Yep.
Or however Keaton said that.
Yeah, it goes, if you don't give, let's see, if you can't give when you don't have it, you're not going to give when you do.
Yes.
If you can't give when you don't have it, you're not going to give it when you do have it. And that's the truth.
Because even when we didn't necessarily have it, we still did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave money that I really couldn't afford to give, but I did.
It's going to come back to us.
Yeah, the universe definitely, yeah.
Because that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You put out into the world, like not just like actions, but you put out energy and stuff into the world, and it's going to come back to you. It's called manifesting.
Yeah. Well, money is actually simply just energy. It's an energy
Source.
transfer.
Yeah.
It's an energy transfer. You know what I mean? And so if I'm putting out positive energy, as in, giving people money and things like that, if I'm putting out positive energy, I'm going to receive positive energy.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm saying, go give $100 so you can, with the intention of expecting money back, because that's not what it is, right?
No.
No.
Yeah,
it's, you know what, I'm giving this person money because, they deserve to have it. That girl at that Carl's Jr., she deserved to have that money.
Yeah.
And so I didn't give the money like, oh, I'm going to give this and I'm going to give more back later because I did a good deed. It's like, no, she needs the money. That's, that's it. I don't have it, but you know what? She needs it more than I need it.
Yeah, because if you're expecting it back, that's just greedy.
Yeah, exactly. And you won't get it back.
Yeah.
Because that's not a positive energy exchange, right? That's, you're expecting something in return. That's a negative energy exchange.
Yep.
Really.
100%.
Yep. But there are no coincidences. These things known as coincidences, there's synchronicities. and they're part of a pre-planned destiny that's kind of it's revealing the path to you, and they're coming out. It comes out more and more, and they need to be paid attention to. When you see certain numbers, when you have certain thoughts that pop into your head, when you're like, oh, that was a coincidence, well, then you need to actually stop and think about, okay, so what's the message behind this coincidence? Like, why am I seeing this? Why is this happening to be so coincidental?
Yeah. And speaking of why is this happening, nothing happens to you, it happens for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we